This is the second session, and in this session, we will look at the demonstration of the ability to take responsibility, to organize, and participate in the recruitment process. Employers recruit for the present and future needs of the company, and they are always concerned on how to find and hire employees suitable for the position, which is where the Human Resources Department comes to the rescue. The Human Resources Department is responsible for publicly placing the information in different outlets, like the newspaper or different job sites. The advertisement is designed to clearly define the requirements for a vacant job position. Recruitment is separated into two categories: internal recruitment and external recruitment. Internal recruitment applies to the people who are already working inside the organization. This gives them the opportunity to apply for the vacant position, and if a suitable candidate is found, a change in profile will be included on behalf of the employee. External recruitment refers to the external candidates applying for the position. The next step after the recruitment process is filtering and selecting the appropriate candidate for the vacant position. Once the Human Resources Department has received enough responses from the job seekers, they begin filtering through the resumes. This step helps choose the resumes that match with the job profile and is normally done by someone who understands the requirements of the vacant position. Candidates with the required skills are shortlisted and get called for interviews, whereas the candidates that do not meet the requirements may be considered for future requirements of the organization, so the resumes might be filed separately and kept for the future. There is a salary negotiation window that starts from when you offer a job to a candidate to when they accept the job. The results of a salary negotiation can either make the candidate feel wanted or devalued. On the other hand, it makes the employer happy to welcome the candidate or feel as if he lost. The leeway for a salary negotiation depends on three main factors. The first factor is the discussion of salary, benefits, and working conditions. The addition of additional benefits and privileges like a medical plan and a fitness plan may impact the salary range. The second factor is the level of the vacant position. Higher level jobs have more bargaining room as opposed to the lower level jobs. The third factor is the urgency at which the organization needs the employee and the availability of the people with the required skills. Basic health and safety rights in a workplace are provided by legislation. They commonly use four terms, which are Act, Regulation, Code of Practice, and Guide. The Act states all the general health and safety principles which are fully supported by the law. They are made or approved by the Parliament or the government. Regulations give the specific health and safety rules within the limits of the Health and Safety Act, and they are also supported by the law. They are adapted and amended by the Cabinet or the relevant ministers. Code of Practice gives general guidance on ways to comply with the regulations, unlike the Act or regulation. It is not backed by law, but can be used as evidence for compliance. The Code of Practice is adapted and amended by the relevant governing bodies under the Ministry of Labour, and internal labour organization codes of practice may be adapted by governments. Guides give detailed technical information and recommendations to help employers comply with health and safety regulations. Just like the Code of Practice, it is not backed by the law, and it is adapted and amended by the relevant governing body. Everyone has the right to see the occupational health and safety legislations of their country. Contracts of employment are submitted for approval to the authorized person in the Human Resources Department. New contracts, addendums, and amendments are normally approved within 72 hours of submission to the HR department. If it happens that the person who's submitting the contract is returning from retirement, then there is a whole different process to follow, but it is possible. Having an organizational structure is important, and an effective organization clarifies the regulations between its members, staff, volunteers, and board and constituents in writing. All the daily tasks of the organization that are handled by the staff need to be systematic and methodical. Using methodical procedures has a direct impact on the organization's ability to be efficient, credible, and trustworthy, which are requirements for an effectively functioning organization. A specific procedure is fundamental because without one, there will be inefficiency. This brings us to the end of our session. Let's take a break and continue on in the next session.